It's time for Uncle Izzy's Jazz Jamboree! Featuring Chicagoland's brightest jazz stars. And now, your host, Barry Winograd.
Hello, and welcome to another musical adventure on Uncle Izzy's Jazz Jamboree. I'm your host, Barry Winograd. Our own Uncle Izzy went to visit his father at his farm recently, celebrating an early Father's Day, and they were talking about recent commodity investments as well. And Uncle Izzy's dad, well, he said, you know, the greatest investment in any commodity is family. And Uncle Izzy agreed, and Uncle Izzy's dad said, you know, we should have a local jazz family on Uncle Izzy's Jazz Jamboree. And so Uncle Izzy said yes, and here they are now, the Baney Family Jazz Trio on Uncle Izzy's Jazz Jamboree. We just heard Sugar from the Baney Family Jazz Trio. Next up, The Man I Love on Uncle Izzy's Jazz Jamboree. We're listening to the Baney Family Jazz Trio on Uncle Izzy's Jazz Jamboree. We just heard The Man I Love, preceded by Sugar. They'll be back with us in a minute, I'd like to remind you to grab a pencil and a piece of paper for later on when we give you our address here at Uncle Izzy's Jazz Jamboree, because we'd love to hear from you. I'm your host, Barry Winograd, saying stay put, stay tuned, and we'll be right back with the Baney Family Jazz Trio on Uncle Izzy's Jazz Jamboree. Uncle Izzy's Jazz Jamboree, cable's newest home for music, conversation, and more. Join me, Barry Winograd, for a half hour of entertaining, educating, and exciting sounds of jazz from many of Chicagoland's finest practitioners. We'll listen, talk, and view with you an invigorating array of jazz cats of all generations. It's Uncle Izzy's Jazz Jamboree on your local public access channel. Welcome back to Uncle Izzy's Jazz Jamboree. I'm your host, Barry Winograd, and today we have a wonderful band with us, as you've already heard, the Baney Family Jazz Trio, Dave, Martin, and John. Welcome, gentlemen. Welcome to Uncle Izzy's Jazz Jamboree.
Thanks,
Thank
Barry.
you, Barry.
Yeah, I'll tell you, it feels sort of religious, Dave, Martin, and John. It's like right out of the Bible, you three guys.
That's okay.
It's the family. Yeah, it's the family. Hey, John, you've got a great trio here, your son Martin, your brother Dave, and yourself. And let me ask you a question. How did the Baney family get started in the music business? Is this something in the heritage of the Baney family?
It's like we never had a choice, and I don't think anybody regrets not even having a choice. Our mom and dad both were wonderful music people. Our dad, I'm talking about his grandpa, Dave and I are brothers. Our dad played wonderful swing bass, you know, tum, 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 that kind of great feel. And he also played rhythm guitar, which you don't hear anybody do anymore. And he'd sing Sweet Sue and like Marty Gross, sort of. Wonderful guitar player from Chicago, moved to New York. And our mom sang, and she could sight read anything, sight read it. We were so spoiled, and her phrasing and it was just impeccable. Intonation was impeccable. And when we get out in the real world and we met singers who just memorized a song off the record, and you know, like, oh my, what?
Well, you start to learn the difference between a musician and people who work at the game, shall we say.
Right. Try to look like.
So, but you were telling me earlier that this is a seventh generation at least of Baney family musicians?
Yeah, that we know of. Yeah, I think Dave's granddaughter would be absolutely the seventh. Martin the sixth, we're the fifth. It's a little hard to keep track of. Dave has a son in Florida, he plays guitar. We have another brother in Cincinnati, this is where we really are from. He plays guitar. We have a sister in North Carolina. She plays classical piano, flute, and classical guitar. So, and all her kids are playing. So, you know, it's just...
Well, it's a wonderful thing. You'd think after all these generations you would have learned by now to become an accountant or...
wouldn't it?
Yeah.
But actually, I think in the long run, the
smart.
people are happier, and music is good for the soul, the spirit, because then you make the right decisions. You don't have enough time to get into the dumb, the dumb parts of life.
Well, there are different ways and approaches to life. Has everyone, like Martin, you said, started playing drums professionally around the age of 13 or so?
13.
Has everyone started that early in your family?
Yeah, John and I, we did our first gig together for money when I was about 14, John was about 16.
Yeah, right.
And what was the name of that band? Starlights.
Yeah,
That was in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
yeah. And we played at the Friars Club, I remember. And it was a 7-piece band. It paid $5 a piece.
Yeah, man.
Oh, it was big money back then.
Oh, we went out and ate hamburgers, and it was great. It was
You know,
fun.
Barry, I was going to tell you that I learned how to play jazz chords because my mother hated to iron. It's true. She hated to iron, so she would say to me, "You read out of this fake book, and you just follow these chords along. I'll sing, and we'll get this ironing done."
Yeah.
Everyone should be so lucky to have such a great mother.
Oh, it was neat.
So, John, you're also a vocalist, and I know we're going to hear you sing on a song a little later. Does your mother's influence as a vocalist affect your singing at all?
No, because she was really a singer, a very good singer. I'm sort of a music maker, and I make a sound with my voice, but I wouldn't call myself exactly a singer.
Yeah,
I
he's
don't
a
actually.
stylist. He's
A
a
stylist,
stylist.
I like
That's
that.
what he is. He's
But
a stylist.
I don't actually like tune up my instrument. I don't practice it, you know, like scales and things like that,
You
like
tune
a
up by
real
having
singer
hear
would
it.
do. So I like to sing, and I've been singing since I was 6 years old with Dave. But
Well, and you also practice an old art form that not a lot of guys do anymore, and that is you sing as you bow your bass
Oh,
and as
yeah.
you play your bass. And famous examples are Slim Galliard, of course.
yeah,
and
Slam.
From Slam Stewart, excuse
Yeah.
me, from Slim and Slam.
Yeah, he was a very
right.
close friend.
And Paul Chambers, later on, he would
Yeah.
do that, as you would hear. He'd be soloing on the bass, and you'd
Major
hear him
Holly.
singing along on Major Holly.
Yeah.
Did they have a lot of influence in what you're doing, or is it something that you just started doing and didn't know it
Slam
was
had
occurring?
big influence on my dad,
Hmm.
and he could play along with those records perfectly. And I'd sit there and listen to it. So yes, Slam was my first influence that way, 2 or 3 years old. But I guess it was my dad that really was doing the influencing, you know.
Well, let's get back to the band very quickly. First of all, the Baney family, I got to get it right, the Baney Family Jazz Trio, there we go. How long have you three been playing together?
Not long,
Mhm.
actually. One reason or another, Martin went to Europe. Dave came up 12 years ago from Cincinnati. We kind of like played where we could make a living, you know. I mean, and so now I'm trying very hard to get us to work together because I really enjoy it. I enjoy it more than ever.
Well, I know there's a
enjoyed
club here in Chicago where you've worked a long time called Weeds, where the three of you have been playing
Right.
together for a long time on Thursdays.
it. Right.
And that's where I first experienced all three of you together. I've known
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
Martin here and John there and
Yeah.
Dave there. And
Yeah.
it's interesting to hear the three of you thinking together as musicians coming from the same heritage. I think it really does make a difference, and it makes for a
Yeah.
very strong and happy music as a family.
You know, also, Barry, I've always said that there's something definitely genetic about musicians in a family.
Yeah.
There's so many times through the years when John and I will play a created phrase off the wall at the exact same time together and look at each other like, whoa.
You would have a hard time doing it even if you rehearsed it, you know.
Well, I think we've had some good examples of that. We heard Sugar, we heard
Yeah.
The Man I Love,
Yeah.
and you're going to
First
sing for us on which song coming up?
Sentimental Journey
And you're going to finish with?
with a song in my heart
All
featuring
right.
my brother and my son.
We're going to hear from Dave Baney, Martin Baney, John Baney,
Oh,
the
hey, you wanna see
Baney
the next-
Family Jazz
You wanna
Trio.
see the next?
The next generation
There
is
she
right
is.
here. We'll show
Oh,
it
you
to you
probably
very
can't see
quickly. And this is Uncle Izzy's Jazz Jamboree.
Gonna take a sentimental journey. Gonna set my heart at ease. Gonna take a sentimental journey to renew old memories. Got my bags, got my reservation, Spanish dime I could afford, like a child in wild anticipation. Long to hear that all aboard. 7, that's the time we leave at 7. I'll be waiting up for heaven, counting every mile of railroad track that takes me back. Never thought my heart could be so yearning. Why did I decide to roam? Gonna take a sentimental journey, sentimental journey home. 7. That's the time we leave at 7. I'll be waiting up for heaven, counting every mile of railroad track that takes me back. Never thought my heart could be so yearning. Why did I decide to roam? Gonna take a sentimental journey, sentimental journey home, journey home, journey home, journey home, journey home.
Boy, we've had a great time today on Uncle Izzy's Jazz Jamboree. Thanks to the Baney Family Jazz Trio, guitarist Dave Bany, drummer Martin Bany, vocalist, bassist, leader John Baney. The songs we heard, they were Sugar, The Man I Love, Sentimental Journey, and With a Song in My Heart. I'm Barry Winograd, thanking you once again for joining us on Uncle Izzy's Jazz Jamboree. Look forward to seeing you next time. Remember, support live jazz, and have a great day from all of us here at Uncle Izzy's Jazz Jamboree.